Welcome to this explainer. Today we are stepping right onto the tee box to explore an absolute revolution in the world of golf course architecture. We're going to look at a man who completely reshapes the very ground the game is played on, building the absolute grandest stages for golf's greatest champions. I am, of course, talking about the legendary Robert Trent Jones Sr. Okay, let's dive into this because this single quote beautifully establishes the core tension of his entire life's work right off the bat. A golf course should test the expert while remaining enjoyable for the average golfer. I mean, think about how incredibly difficult that balance is to actually strike. You have to build a championship test with severe shot values to challenge touring pros, right? But at the exact same time, you've got to provide safe bailout areas so the weekend amateur doesn't just leave utterly defeated. This core philosophy ultimately became the heartbeat of modern golf course design. Section 1. A new era of golf. Now, to truly understand his impact, we really have to look at the era that came right before him. The golden age of golf architecture had its own brilliant pioneers, guys like Donald Ross, who mastered the art of the subtle challenge, and Alistair Mackenzie, who made strategy look absolutely beautiful. They let nature take the lead, relying on the land's natural contours, and a kind of subtle, strategic minimalism. But then, the game entered a totally new age, and those classic courses faced a massive crisis. Suddenly, television started bringing tournaments into millions of living rooms. Professional golfers were getting so much stronger. Equipment was improving at a blistering pace, and the championships, they grew larger than ever before. The subtle nuances of the golden age were suddenly in real danger of being completely overpowered. The sport desperately needed a much bolder, more heroic style of architecture just to meet this modern moment. Section 2. The architect arrives. Enter our protagonist. Robert Trent Jones Sr. stepped right into this void, armed with a vision tailored precisely for the sport's rapid evolution. He was born in 1906 in Lancashire, England, but his family immigrated to New York in 1911, searching for opportunity in a rapidly growing America where golf was absolutely booming. Young Robert wasn't just fascinated by playing the game, he was obsessed with the physical environment of the course itself. This passion led him to Cornell University in 1924. And actually, get this, a degree in golf course architecture didn't even exist back then. So he essentially invented his own. He handpicked classes across formal landscape architecture, agronomy, and even public speaking. Unlike a lot of early architects, he approached course design through this rigorous, highly formal education. And that education taught him how to shape land in ways that were both beautiful and incredibly functional. He realized that a golf course wasn't just pretty scenery. Every single bunker, the specific routing of the holes, the topography, they all carried a distinct functional purpose. He viewed the land not just as a canvas, but like a giant chessboard, and he was ready to play. Section 3, hard par, easy bogey. So the crucial point is how he built upon the foundations of those Golden Age architects rather than simply copying them. He used them as a launching pad for his defining modern philosophy, hard par, easy bogey. This was the introduction of what we now call heroic design. He literally transformed golf into a game of intense, deliberate strategy rather than pure survival. He believed par should be a badge of honor, something you earned by forcing a pro to hit a heroic, perfectly precise shot. But at the same time, he made sure to leave a clear, unpenalized route for the amateur to safely make their bogey. Instead of impossible, punishing layouts, he designed courses that presented thrilling, undeniable choices. He puts you, the golfer, right in the hot seat. Just picture it. You're standing in the middle of the fairway with a long iron in your hand, staring down a heavily guarded green. Do you aggressively attack the flag? Or do you swallow your pride and play it safe? Do you take on that deep, flashed-faced bunker, or do you accept a much longer, safer approach shot to the widest part of the green? Do you try the heroic forced carry over the water hazard, or do you just lay up? Forcing these precise, rapid-fire risk and reward decisions, and hey, collecting thousands of donated amateur golf balls in his lakes in the process, is the true hallmark of his modern architectural genius. Section 4. Designing for tomorrow. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how he specifically future-proofed these courses against the ever-improving equipment and player strength we were talking about earlier. This is his architect's scorecard, the hallmarks that defined his lasting masterpieces. He became famous globally for championship-caliber layouts utilizing incredibly strategic water hazards. He built long, demanding par 4s and designed elevated, heavily protected greens. Crucially, he incorporated adaptable designs meant to challenge everyone, from the scratch golfer to the high handicapper. He pulled off this remarkable adaptability by designing for tomorrow's golfer. Step 1, design highly flexible routing. Step 2, build multiple teeing grounds. In fact, he popularized the concept of massive runway tees, these incredibly long tee boxes that allowed a course to instantly stretch out and gain hundreds of yards in a single afternoon. Step 3 was ensuring this flexibility could withstand decades of evolving equipment and much stronger players. Designing for the golfer of 2020 all the way back in 1950 is exactly why his layouts still host elite tournaments today. And the results of that foresight? Absolutely breathtaking. These specific, iconic courses became the ultimate proving grounds for major championships and Ryder Cups. We're talking masterpieces like Spyglass Hill in California, Hazeltine National in Minnesota, Firestone in Ohio, Mauna Kea in Hawaii, and Bellerive in Missouri. There's even a legendary story about Baltusrol in New Jersey. During a redesign, the touring pros actually complained that his new fourth hole was unfairly difficult. So what does Jones do? He marches out there with a 4-iron, with a few club members watching, and casually hits a hole-in-one just to prove it was eminently fair. You just can't make that up. Section 5. A worldwide legacy. Let's zoom out for a second to really appreciate the sheer momentum and massive global footprint he achieved from the middle of the 20th century to his passing in 2000. Over a monumental 6-decade career, his expansion was just staggering. In the 1930s, he built his reputation designing and renovating throughout the American Northeast. By the 50s through the 70s, he had firmly established himself as the undisputed leading championship architect in the world. And from the 60s right through the 90s, he takes his vision completely global, rapidly expanding across Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and South America. 6 continents in total, leaving a truly unmatched legacy. And this brilliantly illustrates how he didn't just build unforgettable holes or expertly fit routings into the landscape. No, he transformed the very DNA of championship golf. He built the modern standard for international titles, creating these grand stages that respected the land, demanded absolute heroism from the game's greatest players, and yet somehow remained immensely enjoyable for generations of everyday players. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. Next time you tee off, take a look down the fairway. Look at that bunker placement, the elevated green, the forced carry over the water just daring you to try it. How much of Robert Trent Jones Sr.'s vision are you unknowingly playing through? It's a fascinating thing to consider. Keep pondering that, and for sure join us for our next explainer, where we'll be traveling the globe to explore his specific masterpiece courses, hole by hole. Thanks for hanging out with us, and keep learning.